may speak.
Thank you.
And additional time.
Thank you. A little over a year ago, the then alderman of the 15th district raised some concerns about his inability to get information from the administration. There is a lot of things that happen behind closed doors with this development, and I think that the council needs to be aware of those. For example, Mr. Blackwell has a development going on in Waterloo, although it's come to a quick stop in part because he had historic tax credits at stake too. Because he went beyond his deadlines, the City Council of Waterloo had to borrow or bond for $20 million rather than the $13.5 million that he originally proposed when he had the historic tax credits on the line. So it's not unusual for a developer to lose those tax credits because he does not get his ducks in a row in a timely fashion. Mr. Blackwell borrowed money from the city of Racine, cut a different deal with the sellers of the property, set up an escrow account for him to draw money out of over the last year and a half. I had no idea that I should even have asked the question of the administration if something like this would have happened. When this came to light, this is where, the city administrator kept saying to us, the council, well, he's paying his interest payments. He paid his interest payments with money that he took from the sellers that he renegotiated after we loaned him the $4.5 million. So in essence, we are paying that because we loaned him that money. I want us to have our eyes wide open about what kind of a developer we're giving another extension to. He didn't even have the respect for this city or this administration that negotiated with him or this council to come before us within that first 4 months when his extension had expired. So I understand the alderman of the 9th district wanting to keep that door open because initially I felt the same way. But I'm also afraid if we continue to put our skin in this game, in a game in which he has no skin except ours in, the end result is going to be the same, only we're going to have more invested, just like they did in Waterloo, which required them to invest even more. And I think it's just time we stop and go back to the drawing board, go back to the state and beg somebody else to, give us a $9 million tax credit, however we want to do it, but this developer is not going to deliver. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else care to speak on this item? Any further requests to speak? Okay, seeing none, the vote then is going to be on a second amendment. Oh, Alderman Shakur, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not disagreeing with what's been said, but I tell you what, I don't want to lose $9 million or $65 to $80 million over the situation. If there's another, if we keep the LLC in place, if Rodney don't work out, Mr. Blackwell don't work out, we can go a different route. There is still hope here. But I tell you what, to vote no on this, that's a bad thing for us to do because we need the tax base. We need to expand it. And for us to vote this down, that's not going to be good. I think in the long run, even though things have been working out the way we want them to, a no vote would be devastating.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Cole, please.
Yeah, about 6-7 years ago, I tried to get the city to buy all these properties. We could have got them for a little cheaper price. And the reason why I say we should have got it, we have no place left to grow in this city. We can't grow, our borders are tied. The only place we have is the water. And to pass up something like this now, worst case scenario, we wait the 4 months, this pans out, we get our $9 million in tax credit, and it's a good thing. Worst case scenario is we have our property back for another developer. But then we have to go through this all over again for the $9 million. And I think if we vote this down now, it's just going to sit longer. If we let this go till December, there's that possibility that this thing is still gonna go, and we get the $9 million in tax credits. So I still think we need to go forward with this.
Thank you, Alderman Shields.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, at this point, I think I have a little faith in our administration that they will come up with a solution. You know, but if you talk about turning down tax dollars, once again, we turned down CVS, which put their own money into the game, had a tax base. So when you talk about what's good and what's bad and we should make these decisions, we should be informed totally of what we're voting on. And I feel strongly that the administration, our city mayor and the city administrator and whoever else would like to work with them will come up with a solution.
Thank you. I have no requests for speakers at this point. Anyone else care to speak? Okay, we're looking at item 0742-16, Second Amendment to extend the development agreement for Machinery Row. We are all set to vote electronically. The motion has carried. Thank you very much. 742-16 has carried. I believe that wraps up the items for second consideration. Alderman Shakur, would you please read the remaining items from your report for us?
Thank you, Mr. President. The first item we got remaining is on page 5. That would be 064816. Communications from the city attorney submitted a claim of Clyde Oliver